So this weekend, we have the moon in Leo. We've had this pretty intense week with the moon going through Cancer, aspected by Saturn and Mars. So over the weekend, the moon is in Leo. Moon in Leo is quite fiery, and it's about the clarity of our individuality, the glory of our individual nature. And this is the nature of Leo. You know, it's like the king. And on some level, we're all king. We're all, even if you're a woman, then you're a queen, obviously, but we're all royalty. We all have this royal being within us. And it relates to the part of us that is connected to a divine lineage. You know, the nakshatras in Leo are Magha and Purva Falguni and Uttara Falguni at the very end. Magha nakshatra is ruled by the divine ancestors, the Pitris, which literally has to do with our family. It's the first nakshatra in Leo, which has to do with the king on the throne. And it literally relates to our family in this lifetime, but also the Pitris, the divine ancestors that connect us to the celestial family, our celestial lineage. Very important that we realize we're not just of this lifetime. You know, the king is not elected. It's not an elected position. You have a succession. You have a claim to a certain power based on your heritage, based on your past, based on your karma, based on... Now, you know, our karma is also related to our family. Our karma is also related to our past lives, however, and our family and our past lives and the celestials and the lessons we've been learning and who we really are. These are all big issues in the nakshatra Magha, which we'll have on Saturday. And again, you know, when we look into karma and we look beyond the simplistic nature of karma and the simplistic application of these deep Vedic principles beyond just this one lifetime, and we look into these things as they are universal laws, they start to come into greater focus and greater clarity. You know, for instance, you know, karma is a great encompassing law of the universe. It's more like the law of gravity. It's neutral. It doesn't, you know, it's not fair to some people, unfair to others, or whatever. And it's also not punishing us. You know, we're not punished for our anger. It's not like the law of karma punishes us because we got angry. We're punished by our anger. We're not punished because we're nasty. It's not like the god of karma is saying, okay, you were nasty, now you get this much punishment. No, we're punished by our nastiness in the form of being disconnected, in the form of being isolated, in the form of what comes back as a result of that. It's a totally accurate law. You know, just like, I've used the example, just like gravity. You know, it's not good when it keeps us on the earth and keeps everything together, and bad when it pulls the airplane out of the sky and kills everybody. It's a law that just acts according to principle. So I'm saying this as it relates to nakshatra Magha and the sign of Leo, because we can be the king of our worldly life, and we can lay claim to a certain seat of power that we're sitting on. We are all sitting on a certain seat of power. Much of it comes from this lifetime, from those other animals that raised us, those creatures who were our parents in this lifetime. Many people, their power in life now is still determined by who raised them earlier in their life. They're connected totally to this world. And in some ways, you know, the past equals the future. Well, I was raised this way, so this is all that's possible for me. This is how karma, my past, has framed my reality. Other people who have done the inner work have also penetrated beyond the veil of this one lifetime, of this family that raised us in this lifetime, and have connected to a more divine lineage, a more celestial lineage. And it's not like that celestial lineage overcomes or trumps the family of this lifetime. They're all connected. They're all related. It's all the same path. It looks different, but it's not. So it's a deep thing to ponder with the nakshatra Magha, the sign of Leo, the king. You're sitting on the throne. You have a certain amount of power based on that, based on who you are, based on your family, this lifetime, past lifetime. That's why every great being always tells you to honor your family. Honor your mother and father. They'll say, I don't care what they did to you. That's your mother, that's your father. They did the best they could. Honor them. For our benefit, not their benefit. And then the second nakshatra after Magha is Purva Falguni, which is ruled by the god Bhagha, the god of delight. It shows the delight of life, the joy of life. It's good to be king, but we can be king and just kind of sit on the throne and be sort of lazy and just kind of let ourselves feel entitled. I'm entitled to, be happy. I'm the king after all. And it really just shows this kind of nature where we can be kind of conspiratorial relative to our power. Like, we might not show it, but underneath it all, we think we're a little bit better than the housekeeper. And, you're just the guy, like, making my coffee. So, do it, Mr. Guy that worked at Starbucks. It's this kind of power imbalance that can happen easily with Leo. And, it's also, the king has the spoils of the riches, he can enjoy and indulge and be the kind of lazy king. So we need to be careful of that quality, but in the positive, it's the generosity, the magnanimous nature of Leo to want to give and to want to enjoy and to see that everyone prospers and everyone enjoys. It's ruled by the god Bhagha, the god of delight, and there's a story that illustrates this one from, I believe it's Mahabharata, where they talk about Daksha's Yajna. He was the father of Shiva's wife, and he didn't like Lord Shiva, and he had a ceremony to honor all of the gods, and he didn't invite Lord Shiva because he didn't like him, and his daughter went showing up, not realizing that they were also ridiculing Shiva behind his back, so she threw herself on the fire and immolated herself in front of all the gods. And once this happened, Lord Shiva became enraged and went and kicked butt. And a lot of the gods that were there did little things, and Shiva exacted revenge on them. And it gives insight into the nature of the nakshatra. This is why the nakshatras are so deep, because Bhagha was at the sacrifice, and he winked. Kind of like that conspiratorial, aristocratic wink that's like, Shiva. That kind of wink. Like the way bureaucrats kind of wink. Yeah, get up in front of the audience and tell them that, we're on their side and blah, blah, blah. But, that kind of thing. So he sort of winked when Daksha said something. So Shiva poked his eyes out. And so there's a passage in one of the Vedas, I believe, where it says Daksha got his eyes poked out so he could actually see. So there's a lot of interesting stories. If you know how to interpret those stories, it can really benefit you in your astrology studies and understanding the deeper nature of the nakshatras. And then later on Sunday, the moon goes into Uttara Falguni, ruled by the god Aryaman, who is the god of contracts and agreements. So Purva Falguni is related to marriage, courtship. It's where Lord Shiva courted Parvati. And we even see that sort of thing played out in that story of Daksha, Shiva and Parvati. But Aryaman is he's the god of marriage. He's the ruler of Uttara Falguni. So Uttara Falguni, which comes Sunday night and into Monday, is ruled by the god Aryaman, Uttara Falguni, which is about official business, contracts, the government. It's related to the sun. And it shows where the energy of Leo, which is that king running the kingdom, turns into the energy of Virgo, which is organizing all those details. Running a kingdom takes a lot of work and creates a lot of tasks and busy work. And Uttara Falguni has that quality of organizing all that work. So I talk about a lot of this stuff actually in my course on the nakshatras. I actually talk about every nakshatra. It's not that expensive. If you're interested in finding out each of the deities of the nakshatras and all that, you could check it out. But beyond that, have a good weekend. Let me know how this past week was for you so far with those planets going through Gemini and Cancer. And let me know, what are you going to do this weekend with that moon in Leo?